And as I'm swimming towards it, I'm just like, there's blubber and just all this blubber and everything's just coming right at me. And I'm swimming through it and I'm peeking my head up and down because I couldn't see where I was.
I remember the first time I walked into your house, Mark, is when I was first. JP brought me down to start working on the TV show, and
Right?
I came in the house, and then on the wall there was this picture of some diver holding onto a dorsal fin with a camera, holding onto a great white's dorsal fin. And then I was like, and then JP's like, that's Mark. I'm like, what? What? And I was like, what? I didn't even know people did that. Like,
Yeah.
and it was such an amazing photo, and so I don't know. That was my first experience with you. Like, where was that photo? And can you talk about it?
Absolutely. Chris Fowlis took that picture. He's a Shark Week host. JP, you know Chris Fowlis, right?
I think I've met him. Yeah.
Did you met? Yeah, you met Chris. So yeah, Beard. He's a host on Shark Week, and he does all white shark stuff. Like him and Jeff Kerr, they do that um, together. And I was working on shows with them, and we were in Mexico, in Guadalupe, and it's always shark cages that you have there. You know, you're in crystal clear blue water, and it goes down, 100 and something feet on the edge, and these great whites can breach you. The sea lion population is right on the bank, and then they just wait for the seals to come out, and then if they can ambush them, they ambush them.
Wait 1 second. We're Guadalupe. Is that the Isle de Guadalupe?
Yeah, Guadalupe Island is an island off of Mexico, right? And it's a far
Right.
ride. We take like a 70-foot boat to get out there, and you sit and
So it's out there.
it's out there. I mean, you can't, there's just great whites all around this island and this one particular place. And we film Shark Week shows there. They do lots of interaction, but my thing is it's hard to stay in those cages. I don't like to stay in the cage. I'm just like, no, I don't want to stay in the cage. And I end up getting out of the cage and, you know, doing what I do, take my chances or whatever. And just that particular one, Chris Fowles had snapped that photo of me. I just was like doing my thing. And he comes back. He's like, dude, a guy had a sick photo of you. And then I was like, wow, I saw it. And I was like, that was so cool, just to see that, because you're not seeing that when you're on top of them.
But Mark, so wait, so you get in the cage and you're kind of filming, and you're just like, oh, it'd be so much better if I was out there. I got to get out there.
Yeah, I mean,
is that what
they lock you? You have to stay in the cage sometimes. They just are like, there's all kinds of legal issues, but this particular time they gave me the freedom to get out of the cage. And still they're screaming at you the whole time. They're like, watch out, this and that, because these sharks come from below. They breach you. And if you're really not looking around and paying attention, there's possibilities you could get a breach. So I'm very aware of that, It's
So what about this device? You made that device to where kind of shadows you where they can't see you.
Yeah. I'm infatuated with the white sharks, and it's like, how do we get out there and get as close as we can without getting killed? How do you do it? If you swim out there on a surfboard, guess what? You can get smashed. You swim out there on yourself, you look like a silhouette of a seal. You look like you easily, with the water turbulence or whatever happens, you could be mistaken for a seal or a sea lion and get whacked by a white shark. My theory is, I made a platform that is rectangular at this point. It's rectangular, and I put PVC pipes, and they go 10 feet down. And I just go underneath that platform, and it allows me to go and swim and in great white territory without any cages. I mean, in my mind, I'm invisible, and I have to have that in my mind, because you would get too freaked out to be out there and be thinking about getting breached. But I'm literally as calm and cool, as collected as I can be under that mat with no worries. These sharks, I feel like I'm invisible to these sharks.
So you're kind of like a little floating kelp bed.
Exactly.
Is that what you're trying to do? Like a kelp bed with hard things coming down vertically. So it's like like a little forest of plastic.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. And this just came from years and years of just so cumbersome to bring cages and do its metals. And this, what I'm using, is made out of foam. It's basically what your kids roll out when you buy
one of those mats.
The mats. It's a simple mat. It doesn't. There's no protection. There's no nothing. You just have to. If you get into a situation, you want to jump up on the mat, you can do that. And what it is these PVC pipes too, and they're looking. I see them go under me, and they're just looking kind of to the side, but they can't really figure it out. If you're looking up, you're just seeing silhouette. Mm-hmm. You know, anytime you go in the ocean, it's a perfect silhouette. You put your hand there, bam, you see what that is. But with this abstract material around me, that it's going to allow us to get closer and be able to document their behavior in their own environment, without any cages, with nothing, just observe them in their own environment. And the PVCs are there to throw them off. What is that? What is that? And he bumps into them, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't harm them. It just literally just creates this environment where we can observe them. So.
And it prevents them from breaching up underneath you because they've got these things that are coming down. Exactly. That'll make it like,
so the pipes are hanging down into the water, like vertical into the.
Yes, they're you know what they are. They're electrical pipes. You know how electrical pipes have that little back end? It's got a little flange. You stick the next one in, and then the next one.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the holes on the mat. There's 12 holes, and the holes on the mats are just as big around as the small part. So you just literally slide them in, boom, and they stop right there. I mean, this is something for everyone. Like, I don't say go swim with great whites, but if you wanted to feel protected, I'm going to make smaller versions of this to where you just bring it on the boat with you. And if you're swimming out there and you want to get up on it, you can. It's used for deflection, so sharks have pinpoint accuracy. So if the shark sees a fish like this, boom, he's on it. But if he cannot see if you block his vision, you're literally in there with him,
Yeah.
One-on-one. I mean, he can't see. He can see you, but his missile lock is off because there's lots of distractions going on.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah.
That totally makes sense. So you went to Cape Cod.
I basically went to Home Depot, picked up 12 of my PVC pipes, put them on the back of my RV, and then bought the mat itself, rolled it up, stuck it on the back with all my gear, and just rolled out to Cape Cod. I had no idea where, I'm going to find them or whatever, but I knew that they were there. And a scientist friend of mine, Craig O'Connell, he literally said, Mark, I live close by there. I live in Montauk, and I'm going to be in Cape Cod around the same time. And for me to join him and go out with him. And then that was my first, wow, I'm actually going to be able to see a white shark. The very first day I get with Craig, we go to Chatham, and Chatham's right there where all the white sharks are. There's seals, everything is going off right in Chatham. The bluefin tuna swim right offshore, right where the white sharks are. The orcas swim offshore. Everything is out there. The molas. And I'm just so excited. I never was able to actually get in the water in that off of Cape Cod before out in the free ocean, from swimming off the beach versus to go out and look for white sharks. This is the first time. So I get out with Craig, and there we go. We see a white shark in 12 feet of water, 15 feet, right next to the beach. See, we're following him with the boat. I put the drone up. I get shots of him, and we're freaking out. And that was my first introduction, in Cape Cod. We didn't get in the water that day. We just saw the sharks for a few hours, and the weather gets crazy there. So Craig was like, look, weather's coming up or whatever. We rolled home. The next day we get up, we go out. Within an hour, we find a dead seal, literally floating in the ocean. And I was like, well, we're not going to go anywhere because we found a dead seal. I'm like, this is unbelievable. So we literally just pulled up next to the seal, and a white shark shows up, starts swimming around there, and I'm freaking out at that point, right? And I had all my gear. He had the one assistant this day, and she says to me, "You're not getting in the water." And I looked at her and I go, "I am getting in the water." And I started putting my stuff on this, and the white shark is circling the seal at that point, and I grabs a big camera. I had my red with me, and I jump in the back, and I just have to focus on my fin in order to get a focus on the red. So you got to jump in the water in the back. So I'm in there, and the shark's swimming over there, and I'm in my dome, and I'm focusing my thing, and I focused it. I thought I had it perfect, and I had my GoPro on the top, luckily, and I swim out to the seal, and the white shark's coming right at me. Literally, he's face to face. Here I am, and I'm like, "Oh my god, this is what I've been waiting for." It's a giant shark. She's coming right at me, and then the seals, the dead seal's here, and the white shark just swims between me and the seal, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is incredible." So I sit there and I wait, and he doesn't come back. So Craig's like, "Rackley, you got to get in the boat. We got to get back in the boat. Let him come back." He was shy. Everything that they had said about the great white shark wasn't what it really is. He was just so shy. He came at me, so looked at me, "I don't want to deal with this," and then went off. I had to literally get in the boat. And the second time he goes after the seal, he just starts smashing the seal violently like that. And I just looked over, and I knew by the time we waited back and forth, I got in like 3 or 4 times and approached the white shark, and the white shark just swam away every time, like 3 or 4 times throughout the day. And the day is going down, the sun's going down, and I still haven't gotten what I'm starting to get nervous. I'm like, this day's going to be over in about 2 seconds. And I look over, and there he is. He starts smashing the seal violently. And I just literally, I looks down, and after all day long, my red camera fogged up on me. I looked down, and there's no way I'm fixing it. I just reached over, grabbed my GoPro and the pole, and I just jumped in and just beelined right for the shark. And I kept picking my head up. And the water wasn't that clear at that time, and it was actually getting dark. So it was actually getting, to where it's kind of hard to see. And I blow over to the shark. And as I'm swimming towards it, I'm just like, there's blubber and just all this blubber and everything just coming right at me. And I'm swimming through it, and I'm peeking my head up and down because I couldn't see where I was, but I knew I was going in the right direction. So I look up. Yeah,
you were in the meal.
I was in the meal, but
you were.
My theory. I'm in the middle of the meal.
You're in the middle of the meal.
Yes, exactly.
You were on the
We're
table.
eating together.
You're like crawling down the buffet line at Golden Corral.
It was bizarre. And I once it cleared and I actually saw him, I was like, "Oh my god!" He's just like a buzzsaw, blah 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 blah, smashing. You could hear it. I could hear the bones crunching on the seal, and I'm right next to it. At this point, I'm right on top of it. I'm literally
right on it. Right. Like,
no, I ended up reaching, and
like a foot away.
No, on.
Well, I was in awe. I was like, this is pretty much unbelievable. Like, I'm sitting here, and this is nuts. So he made a move like that, yes, wow, and it literally like bucked me off a little bit, and at that point I was like, all right, I felt like I got what I wanted. I got to be in the water with this white shark, and I'd swim back around, and he's still just smashing the seal. And then by the time I got right up on her face with the GoPro, she just kind of just did her last little move, like, "What are you doing here?" And then just swam off. Like, never once actually came at me. Like, there was nothing, I felt threatened, not once with this shark. And that's without using the platform. I didn't even have the platform at that time. I got in the boat, and Craig's like, "You know that I shot that from the top side. I didn't know anyone was shooting. I had no idea." And he said, I caught that whole thing on camera. And he goes, I can't even look at you. And I looked at him and I go, I can't even look at you either. And I just was like, besides myself, we were both just sitting there, like just staring into space, like this really just happened.
Yeah, I'll never forget that phone call. You're like, Sheila, I was just filming a great white and it was eating a seal.
What?
And I'm like, wait, what? I'm just trying to
Yeah.
register
It took a
this.
long time to register it in my head too.
Wow. Like crazy.
A
I
little
was at the
buffet
table
going,
with a great white.
So this shark's like looking at you. So the shark's almost the whole time is kind of looking at you like,
he's so preoccupied
what's
with
this
what he
thing
was
doing
doing.
here?
Period. He didn't
You
care. That my theory
He didn't
was
even care.
that once there was a kill, there's a kill. See, there's no kill here. Now I'm a shark and I have to find what I'm going to kill. Boom. And I'm aggressive and I smash into the seal and I kill him. Well, once the seal is already dead, there's no amped up shark. The seal's dead. I'm coming in very slowly because the seal was dead prior. And you could tell it had been floating, and he came up and very gently grabbed it, like so very gently. You'll see it. His teeth just go like this. Once he's locked into it, his brain doesn't think about anything else. He's never mind someone swimming up to him. He's not even like he's just smashing into it, and
Nom, 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 nom.
that's it.
So it's not like two dogs when one tries to steal the other's food that there's like a battle. He doesn't really.
That's
He
a
doesn't
good
register
point.
you as somebody who's trying to
That's
steal
a
his
great
kill.
point.
He's
No,
just,
not like a bull shark, possibly.
I mean,
Or like hammerheads don't have that aggression either. Think about it. We've learned that throughout all of our years. Grab them, touch, roll, whatever we want to do. They don't come back at you. The only shark that really I've experienced that come back at you would be a Caribbean reef sharks. They just get sporadic and they test him with their nose. 90% of Caribbeans just going to smash into you because he's testing you. So you know what I mean? That's what happens. And the bull sharks as well. I've had a bull shark, and she'll show this to you. It was on Monsters Under the Bridge in the Keys. And this giant hammerhead called Big Mo. He's eating a tarpon. I looked over at my buddy Mike Hudson. And prior to that, the director says, Rackley, we're never going to get this shot with a hammerhead eating a tarpon because it's happened so fast and so violently. And by the time you get there, boom, it's over. So, and I already had that in my head. So the hammerhead's eating the tarpon. Mike Hudson, I jumped on the back of his wave runner, but not on the back of it, kind of on the back of the boogie board. I jumped on the boogie board and he blew me all the way over to where the shark was eating the tarpon. And I just happened to roll, bam, right in the water. Well, as I rolled in the water, he swam away from me a little bit too fast where I lost sight of him. And all of a sudden, the scales started falling from the tarpon around me. And the bull sharks literally surrounded me. And one came right up to the camera. I was like, oh, shit, it's on now. And the next one just literally smashed into, shut the red down. It hit me so violently, hit the front of the red, smashed it down. And luckily the GoPro was filming so we could actually see it. But that was what they do when you're after their food. The great whites, he didn't do that. A bull shark came at me so violently, get away from my food. This is my food. The great white's already so dominant, he don't have to do that. He's like, this is my food,
Right.
dude, period.
He kind of took his time too, right? So he's not like he left that. He must have killed that seal.
He
And
must.
he was like, "Oh yeah, come back for it in a minute. I'll just circle around a little bit, and then now I'm just going to enjoy this seal." Like, but then when he starts munching it, it's
he just wanted like a private
pickled
dining.
onion or
Wanted a private
mushroom
dining.
munching.
He just wanted like a nice private dining experience, and you were there. He's like, God damn it, get that thing out of here. So he's like, maybe if I come back in a minute, he'll be gone. But you just kept hanging around. That's so weird, though, that most people think a great white would just instantly do something to you to get you out of there, to confront you. But instead, he just like, I don't know what that is. I'll come back, It's like he wasn't worried about you.
There's so much to know. There's so much to figure out, like
Maybe
in cracking the code, which we say, or to say something like that, you could crack in the code. We haven't cracked it yet. I mean, there's all these variables and we just don't know, period. That's why I went and I tried to do that to where it was a natural predation going on there. Like I didn't create that, I didn't chum them in. This was something natural that I've always wanted to experience that. And if you could think in your mind, have you ever seen a great white and another great white competing against one kill? I've never seen them actually doing that on film. So yeah, they maybe
like
be
fighting over a
solitary
meal.
hunters,
Huh.
that just need more time investigating.
If you were flailing around trying to run away from the shark, scared of it, do you think it would be a different
I think maybe at
flavor?
that particular time when that seal was dead, there's already blood in the water. Like he's really not going to probably worry about what else is going around. He's going to focus on that dead, already killed thing. I don't think he would have messed with me. And that's basically what happened. If I just start swimming out there on that beach at Cape Cod back and forth, just blah, 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 you're going to get aggressiveness towards you eventually. It's gonna be a mistaken identity, but eventually he's gonna try and take you down because that's what they're doing on that beach. They're just scanning the area. I'm on the beach at Cape Cod and there's people all over in the water and they're not worried. The great white comes right in and the people just get out of the water and then they look. It's an incredible understanding that they have, and plus they have spotter
They give
planes
it
out there
respect.
constantly. There's back and forth, and very few times that you're going to get hit by a great white.
It's crazy. Like seeing how close they were to the beach was just crazy. I mean,
I had the drone up at one point and had the white shark was right on the beach. The shore was breaking, and here he comes right in. So you're swimming.
Yeah,
Really?
exactly.
That's just his mistaken identity. But
no way.
But that's the kind of stuff we're trying to understand is objects and like what is he looking at? Is a triangle different? Is a rectangular different? Is the shapes and objects is really what my focus is on. My ambition is to see him and distract him to where you don't even know. Now a mola swims out there. A mola, a sunfish. If you guys know what a sunfish is, she'll would show you, right? A sunfish swims out there. I look around and I see the seal and I see the white shark come. All of a sudden, two molas come by like this. They're these big oblong objects with these two little fins, and they just swim by. Well, nothing swims in that ocean out there without the white shark taking it down. But the mola, I think, doesn't have enough meat. It's more made of cartilage. Like you see them in California when you go off on the mountaintop. You see, there's molas. They're out there swimming. They don't have enough meat on them. And as a matter of fact, I did see one mola with a shark bite out of him, but it was only one bite. He didn't come back for more. You know what I mean? So, but that was my another understanding about the shapes and sizes of him, of stopping him from breaching you. Now, a mola is sideways to him, and he goes like this. He goes both ways. He'll flap himself so he looks like a square object, but he's literally like rectangular. So that's why I would like to be rectangular in the water if you're going to play the game that I have to play.